Well, you have to love this time of the quarter. Q2 is over. We've waited patiently for 45 days, and now we get to glimpse inside the portfolios of the world's super investors once again. If you didn't already know this, what I'm referring to here is the SEC 13F filing that all the big money managers have to file 45 days after the end of each quarter. And that document discloses everything in their equity portfolios, so you can see what they're buying and selling. And today we're looking into the 13F filing for Mr. Michael Burry, probably the investor that's caused the most headlines over the past year, from his GameStop position to his big short against Tesla to him predicting upcoming hyperinflation in the United States to his tweet warning us all of the mother of all crashes that we're likely to see in the not too distant future. Now, whether all of that comes true or not, I don't know, but either way, he's back and he has made some very, very interesting moves in Q2, including, as you would have seen in the title, a short position against Cathie Wood's ARK Innovation ETF. So let's roll the intro and get stuck into it. This video is sponsored by Hypercharts. Sign up to Hypercharts using the referral code NEWMONEY or use the referral link in the description and save 10% for your first year of Hypercharts Premium. Details in the description. Now, in terms of just straight up equity holdings, Burry made a lot of moves. Out of the super investors that I follow, Burry is definitely the biggest mover and shaker. Check this out. His equity portfolio is now up to a value of $138 million, which, by the way, is nowhere near the amount of money he actually controls. But even in that relatively small equity portfolio, he added to 6 stocks, bought 5 new ones, and sold out of 14 stocks. Now, contrast this with someone like Charlie Munger, who holds 5 stocks in the Daily Journal portfolio and has held 4 of them for about a decade. Yes, Michael Burry is certainly very active with his portfolio, but honestly, that equity portfolio is nothing. It gets even crazier than that, because very often, Michael Burry doesn't just play around with stock holdings. A big part of his 13F filings are his put and call option positions. Simply, call and put options are derivatives, which are kind of like betting contracts between investors. If you buy calls, then you bet that the stock is going up, and if you buy puts, you bet that the stock is going down. Now, the reason that investors use these is that you can make a larger return from betting with options for the same amount of money, but they're also riskier than holding the stock because all options have an expiry date. And if the conditions of that option haven't played in your favor by the expiry date, then the option expires worthless and you've lost your entire bet. Now, as I said, Burry loves playing with options and he has continued to do so in Q2. And that's where we find his position against ARK-K, the ARK Invest Innovation ETF. This is a fund obviously offered by Cathie Wood's ARK Invest that aims to invest in companies that rely on or benefit from the development of new products and services, technological improvements, and advancements in scientific research relating to DNA, energy, automation, manufacturing, next generation internet, and innovative financial services. So what has he done? Well, Scion Asset Management at the end of Q2 held put options against 235,500 ARK-K shares, representing $31 million. So during Q2, Burry has formed a decent bet that the shares of ARK-K are going south. Now, unfortunately, we don't get to know what strike price Burry has on these options, and we don't get to know the expiry date, which honestly is a bit of a bummer for us watching along at home trying to figure out whether he's in the money. All we know is that at some point in Q2 2021, Burry placed this bet against ARK and he still held the bet at the end of Q2. This means the share price at the time he made his bet could have been as low as $99 or as high as $130 per share. And honestly, with the share price currently sitting like right in the middle, it is difficult to know if Burry is in the money so far with this bet. Okay, great. So Burry bets against Cathie Wood's innovation ETF using put options. But one question you might still have is, well, what on earth is even in this fund? Well, this fund consists of 49 holdings, with the top 10 holdings making 47% of the fund. And this won't surprise you, the biggest holding of the fund is Tesla. Classic Michael Burry, always wanting to short Tesla. So Tesla makes up 10.68% of this fund, which is double the next biggest position. Then we also have Teladoc Health, Roku, Coinbase, Unity, Zoom, Square, Shopify, Twilio, Spotify, and so on. So yes, as the name suggests, it's full of companies that do things differently in their industry and have gained tremendous popularity for it. But here's the thing, and I think this is now getting to the core of Michael Burry's investment thesis here. These stocks are all quite pricey. Have a look at the price to free cash flow. So this number compares market cap to the trailing 12-month free cash flow. The lower the number means the lower the stock price is compared to its free cash flow, and the lower the number, the better the value. So here we can see we're getting stocks up in the hundreds, 200s, and 300s. Yes, that means investors are willing to pay 300 times last year's the last 12 months worth of free cash flow just to own the stock. Then on top of that, some of these companies don't even make any free cash flow. Now, just for a comparison, I've also chucked in some of the big cash flow companies of the world like Microsoft, Google, Apple, Facebook. They're all around the 30 mark. Now, honestly, I don't know enough about a lot of the stocks in the ARK fund to make a confident call on their true valuation, but what these numbers do tell us is that investors in these stocks expect huge growth in free cash flow to make their valuations justified as an investment. So Michael Burry is simply saying that he believes investors are expecting way too much growth from these companies and will be disappointed in the eventual reality of the situation, and thus their valuations will fall, and so will the price of the ARK Innovation ETF. So there you go, Burry has placed his bet against the ARK Innovation ETF. Although, to be honest, we shouldn't blow this one out of proportion. This position is 1.48% of his portfolio, so not a lot. Compare that to his short position against Tesla itself, which is now 35.11% of the portfolio, and all of a sudden this move seems pretty tiny. So definitely keep that in perspective. It is quite a small bet overall, but interesting nonetheless. Other interesting things in the options part of the portfolio this quarter, Burry increased his Facebook call position by 71%. So he is very bullish on Facebook in the short to medium term. And he would have done very, very well with these Facebook calls. He's been buying them since Q2 2020. And since that time, the stock has done nothing but skyrocket. In fact, since the start of Q2 last year, the stock is up 137%. But Burry continues to buy more calls. He now has calls on more than 941,000 Facebook shares, worth $327 million. That position now takes up 15.7% of his portfolio. Then lastly, with the options portfolio, remember last quarter he made all these bets against the 20-year treasuries? Well, despite selling out of TTT and TMV and reducing 80% in TBT, which all bets against the 20-year treasury bonds, he has increased his put option position on the iShares 20-year treasury bond ETF by 53%. So Burry's still maintaining a sizable bet on inflation and interest rates rising, but in all honesty, I think I might make a separate video talking about those moves because there's probably a fair bit to unpack there. And I think overall that will just about wrap up Michael Burry's 13F for this quarter. Definitely playing hot potato with the equity holdings, then increases the Tesla short, increases the Facebook call, increases the bet against the 20-year treasuries, and as we've been talking about, starts betting against Cathie Wood's ARK Innovation ETF. Anyway, guys, that will do us for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know, what do you think of Michael Burry's moves down in the comments section below. As always, remember, you definitely don't want to go out and straight up copy the moves that he's making, even though he is a really smart investor. Remember, the reason that I make these videos, the reason that they should be useful to you is it's kind of just like a little bit of info, a bit of an ideas list for some things that you might want to learn more about for your own investing. But Anyway guys, I hope you liked the video. Be sure to leave a like on it if you found it useful or if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. You can check out Profitful if you'd like to learn how I go about my investing, both active investing and passive investing. Links are down in the description below. But guys, that will do us for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video, and thanks to Hypercharts for sponsoring this video. If you're a stock market investor and you are not using Hypercharts, I would seriously recommend you check them out. Essentially what Hypercharts does is it takes all those nitty-gritty numbers out of a company's financial statements and it puts it into really nice, easy to understand charts, and they do that quarter after quarter after quarter, year after year after year. Now that's just for free, but if you wanted to upgrade to a premium subscription, you get a whole host of other features. For example, you can compare two companies on the same page, you get access to historical price charts, but interestingly, you also get any company you want their earnings sent to your email address, and you can even sync your calendar with the earnings calendar. So lots of cool stuff going on with Premium. If you did want to check it out, use the referral code NEWMONEY, that's all one word, or simply click the referral link down in the description for you to get 10% off of your first year. So definitely at least check it out. There's lots of stuff on there for free. It's a website I definitely think that all of us stock market investors should be using to identify trends in the companies we like. And thanks very much to Hypercharts for reaching out and agreeing to sponsor some of this content. So if you're interested, check it out. But that is it for today. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.